This is Jeff Bezos's 2 pizza rule.
So you
it's kind
told
of a clickbait title. I saw this article. I'm like, Jeff Bezos 2 pizza rule. Is this like Donald Trump and his addiction to McDonald's and Diet Coke? I want to know about Jeff Bezos and what kind of pizza he eats.
When you told me this, I was like, what did you say again? Like, what? What rule?
Exactly.
2 pizza rule. What?
So, in the early days of Amazon, when it was still being built and grown before it was a massive success, Jeff Bezos instituted the rule of the 2 pizza rule. Here's what it is. Every internal team within the company should be small enough that it can be fed with 2 pizzas. 2 pizzas. And that seems kind of silly and like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean, Jeffrey? And what he means by that is if you keep those teams small, that makes meetings more effective because you're limiting the number of participants.
Huh. That's huge.
So if you've worked in a type of career or job or position where you go to a lot of meetings, think about the meetings you were in. Here's a better question: How many people does it take to eat 2 pizzas?
What do they recommend?
Who cares what they recommend?
I don't
Nobody
know.
follows what
Like
the FDA says serving
8
size.
max?
This is America. Supersize me.
Like 8 max, I would say. If it's like 2
max.
large pizzas.
Yeah, 2 large pizzas, 2 slices each.
Maybe 8.
8 people probably max. I would say probably less than 8.
Maybe a bunch of hungry men, probably 4.
Here's the thing. I have a bigger appetite and a bigger opinion in some cases. I am going to eat half the pizza. And depending on the circumstance, I might
doesn't matter what size.
dominate half the meeting.
Stop it.
With nonsense. Probably not helpful. Which is why you need 4 other people there to finish off the other pizza and a half. I think 5 people. That's my analysis of Bezos' 2 pizza rule. 5 to 8. We'll make it a range. But
yeah.
Where was I going? Okay, think about a meeting you've been in. Think about a meeting you've been in that had 5 to 8 people and how productive you were. And then think about a meeting you've been in that had 12 people in it.
I have sat in a meeting one time where or called into a meeting one time. Too many people. Too many people on the phone. Too many people in the actual meeting itself. It was way too big. It was like 20 plus people. Mm-hmm. It was not, we'll just say, it did not go well. And it was like one of those daily meetings. This is not good. I stopped calling in because I was like, this is now pointless. I'm not getting anything out of this. Which is also a bad thing. You don't want that. You don't want people to just stop participating in a meeting if it's actually supposed to be productive.
This is why the government is ineffective. They don't follow the 2 pizza rule.
They don't. They do not.
The government follows the CC's Pizza rule. Ever been to CC's Pizza? It's a pizza buffet. Government says, yeah. Anyone else want to join?
We'll just keep adding.
In fact, it's mandatory that you join. It's like, I don't even know what? You're not my department. You need to come. We're having pizza.
What?
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, so Jeffrey says smaller teams are often more engaged and they feel a greater sense of autonomy. With fewer levels of management to interact with, they're able to make decisions faster.
I like this.
I feel like we talk a lot about the government right there.
But there's a lot of companies that do that poorly too. We'll just say that.
Absolutely, absolutely. A recent report showed that companies in the U.S. with fewer than 10 employees scored 42% engagement levels. I don't know what that means. How do you measure engagement levels? You have like a little thermometer. While the average engagement level for bigger companies below 30%. So here's my experience with meetings. If it's a smaller meeting, I personally am more willing to share my opinion and my thoughts. If you have a smaller group where everyone feels like they're part of the conversation, you're going to be able to innovate better. You don't want to stifle people's ideas just because the group size is so big. If I was in a bigger meeting, I probably would be less likely to share my opinion just because I want the meeting to end. And I know if I share my opinion, it's going to prolong that meeting.
Because then everybody else, then there's a few people in there that think that they need to share their opinion about your opinion. And then, like, it's just like a cycle, and it's just like a tornado that just keeps going and going and going.
And then you get to the end of the meeting, and everyone has shared 10% of their idea to solve the problem. And so you have 10% solutions, and you've been there an hour and a half and haven't figured anything out. But if you have 5 to 8 people, you can each better share, better communicate, and you can actually make a decision.
You can probably even get to know those people better. And that's the key there too. Absolutely. If you only have 5 to 8 close friends, how close can you really get with those people? You can get pretty close because you can meet with them more frequently. If you know 50 people, 25 people, now this is not to say like we know a bunch of people. Let's not say that. But to say if you're close with 25 people, I don't know if that's actually possible. You can't get close with 25 people.
Absolutely.
Because to become close, you got to be meeting one-on-one, meeting in a smaller group, maybe 2 to 3 even. So out of a 5 to 8 person group, there's probably people meeting in a 2 to 3 person group to get one specific task of a huge project done. And then it just cycles from there. But you got to build that bond, whether it's intentional or not, or even if it's just a work bond kind of scenario where you're only friends in a work scenario, but that's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think personally, and I think a lot of people might be like myself, I'm more willing to be critical, more willing to share my opinion, and more willing to shut down other people's opinions when they're stupid, if I know that person better.
Yeah.
If
you're
I
like, whoa,
have more
hey
of
buddy,
a personal relationship,
you're on the deep end.
I'm more willing to tell them your idea is dumb.
Yeah.
Versus
and here's
if
why.
it's a complete stranger and I'm in a room of 25 people, I'm probably just going to be like, all right, I just want this meeting to end.
Right.
So
and because you just don't know everybody, and so you don't want to, and it's not like, oh, like I don't want to just share because it really is a bad idea, but like I don't want to look bad. It's just more like I don't know how these people are going to interpret what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like if they don't know you, they're going to be like, who are you? Like what?
Okay, so there's no such thing as a bad idea. Wrong. There's bad ideas.
There is bad ideas.
However, I don't think that means you should censor those bad ideas.
Yeah.
Because the bad idea might actually trigger a good idea. Or there might be an element of that bad idea that can fit into someone else's idea to make it better. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that bad idea is good. It just means there's maybe something you can analyze and take from it.
Right.
And you're going to stifle everyone's ability to share ideas, create and innovate if the group is too big. And if, it's a lot easier to order 2 pizzas.
It is. It's just a lot easier. It's cheaper.
That's what it comes down to.
It's just cheaper and easier.
Yeah.
I like his rule, though. It's so true. I think if you just get too big, and it's not to say, obviously, as you see, Amazon is huge, huge. But what is they probably still keep it to that rule of like each team, like if there's 5 to 8 people in a group and you need to hire more people, what probably needs to happen is you need to split teams and have different teams.
Yeah, and, break that project down into multiple parts.
Right. Which overall they can come together as one huge thing, obviously, as I'm sure they're employing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Yes. So that's just huge in and of itself. That's a big deal.
Pretty neat business leadership tidbit that I learned this week from that article, the 2 pizza rule. I love looking at what Amazon is doing, watching their trends, and I think there's a lot we can learn and discover through what they're doing. They obviously have it figured out, and they're trying new stuff.